This video is brought to you in part by Squarespace. If you're looking for a super dope website, Squarespace is the place to do it. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about how to get a video done in less than 24 hours. Those same day edits, the ones that like your favorite YouTube influencers, the vloggers, the creators, how do they get them done in 24 hours? It's so crazy, especially when they're like really good and super well edited. Is there a creative process? Is there a cheat code? Well, I'm gonna go and explore that because the last two videos that I've made, which were heavily narrative edits, I got done in a super short time frame, less than 24 hours. Let's go through the creative process. I'm gonna teach you some of my key methods on how I get my videos done in a short time period. Let's get into it. The first tip, which I believe is probably one of the most crucial tips in any sort of process of production, is organization. So all the way from when you're starting your shoot, when you're on set, you're filming your stuff, make sure you stay completely organized with the stuff that you're capturing. So if you are building a narrative when you're filming, make sure you have that in the back of your mind. Don't overshoot, don't undershoot, capture the proper and right amount of content that you need. So get your single drone shot as your establisher, then the sort of epic maybe shot of you traveling or going through space. Make sure you almost have a mental checklist. If you watch any of your favorite YouTube influencers or online creators, you'll realize that their success in productivity for online creation lays in their organization and simplification of simplification, a word? Their organization and simplification. Now simplification's weirding me out. If it's not a word, let me know in the comment section below. And simplification allows them to speed up the production process and post-production process because A, they're not overshooting, capturing too much stuff, and B, they're able to go through the edit and assemble the narrative on how they shot it. So when I go out and capture something, I only capture what I need, especially if I need to wrap it around and get it done within a day. Now, my organization process translates all the way over to the editing side too. Like, I basically finished up a commercial recently where I spent a day doing the whole organization process, going through and just labeling everything. And then the next day I was able to come out with a video edit in just a short period of time because my timeline was just so overwhelmingly organized. So if you look, it's like all color coordinated. I have it from like locations to persons to I even use like little tabs. If you want to like label your clips, you just highlight them, right click them and label them a different color. Now the way you color label is totally up to you. I even use little markers in the top, and I have a video in the description that talks a little bit more about editing workflows and my 5 hacks. My second key tip is to get it done right away. Now there's a lot of videos that I've shot where I've shot them and then like 2 months later I've had to go edit them, and it's just like I have to start remembering what I shot, how I shot it, what the motivation was, and it's almost like opening up an old journal and being like, oh yeah, okay. But if you've just shot it, like literally you filmed it and you get straight to your computer, the process of going through what clips are bad, what clips are good is so much faster because you can literally just look at a clip and go like, yeah, I know the third shot that I took on this scene didn't work, so I can now skip to the 4th, the 5th, or the 6th. And you're literally trimming time, you're trimming minutes, if not hours away from each clip because you're not focusing on the ones that don't work. You already know which ones work and you can already assemble the story because you just lived it. Which leads to my third point, which is when you get it done in that same time frame, you're able to have the message in your head. So the number one thing is to have your message, have your narrative in your head before you even start organizing. So the key thing is, like, the way I've been able to get my videos done super quick is I know exactly how it's gonna play out. I can see it, I can visualize it, I know the flavor, tone, and vibe where it's gonna go. Sometimes that creativity and those ideas develop while I edit, but I usually know about 60% of what my video is gonna look like before I even start putting a clip on the timeline. So maybe it's a new process for you guys to start figuring out. Maybe it's a way to just like research your footage, look through it, maybe watch a couple YouTube videos as a format of influence, and then sort of utilize that as a launch point if you don't have one yet. There's been so many times where I've worked on a project and I look at the timeline and I'm like, so having some sort of creative launch point, whether it's an influence of another video or another good one is utilizing a song. So sometimes if I am in like a super crunch, what I'll do is I'll find a song that I absolutely love. I'll find that first, put it into my timeline, and then start putting my footage so that it matches that song. So therefore the song has already built the narrative, and then I'm just doing the footage that corresponds to it. The reason why editing to music is so effective is because you're able to utilize the sort of beat, metronome, and story arc that it's created. A lot of songs actually have an arc to them. They have a structure that works for an audience to listen to. So if you do some sort of visual representation of that melody or of the chorus or whatever, it really does help enhance your video. And that goes to my fourth or fifth tip. God, I'm so terrible with these lists. Which leads me into my next one, which is if you are developing this and you're constructing it and compiling it all together, have your kind of go-to assets already available. So for me, I have my go-to sound effects list that I can literally just access right from my computer. I have it already in my downloads folder. I just press import, I type in sound effects, my sound effects folder is there, and then that way I can skim through my project and start adding in sound effects as I watch through it. Now I'll talk a little bit more about my sound effects adding developing process in a future video, but if you really want to enhance your project to the next level, having an amazing library of sound effects right at your disposal is so important. Now I have a link to a video in the description below that basically provides like 41, I think, sound effects for you guys to use. So use those as a launch point, have those available in your downloads folder. You can bring in and import into your project and then just add those in. It takes your videos level from here to here, and it doesn't take too much time if you're able to just watch through it and in real time add sound effects at that same time. Having your assets like sound effects available also applies to having things like titles, effects, lower thirds. Now I have mine already available as well within a folder, so literally I'll press import, utilize my title, and then boom, put that in. And that's kind of like my signature for all my videos. But since it's already pre-made, pre-developed, I can just drag and drop it in there, and it doesn't take too much time, and I don't have to recreate a brand new asset for it. It's literally right there, and it takes the production value just up another notch without taking a ton of time to develop anything. But I think the biggest key note that I can say for all of this is the fact that just to understand what your narrative is before you go into it, have those ideas fresh, because if you have fresh ambition when it goes into a project, that will fuel you your whole way through. And knowing crazy transition techniques, audio techniques, good editing, that is all, I think, the little enhancements and micro adjustments that can make a video better. But ambition should be your primary fuel to take you through it. If you have zero ambition through the project, you're definitely not going to get it done in 24 hours. I've been on multiple projects where the ambition has been gone and it has just been like a creative, forceful project. And trust me, it's not a fun process. So if you can be ambitious, and for me, my big tips for that is just to start editing it right away and to know what your narrative is and just to be inspired if there is no source of inspiration. So that might be listening to music or watching another YouTube video. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you guys are interested in looking at a little bit more of my work and my company's work, Blackout Media, where I've utilized these techniques on a bunch of different projects, you can check that out in the description below, blackoutmedia.ca. We built our website off a website builder called Squarespace. It is an incredibly responsive website and domain builder. We were very picky with how we wanted our site to look like, how we want to represent our brand, because that is basically everything in one. And we were able to use the responsive and just incredibly stylish platform like Squarespace to make something that was exactly the style that fit our branding. So if you guys want to just take a quick peek at that, and if you're interested in possibly building your own website for your company, whether that's for videos or photos, I highly recommend utilizing Squarespace as your launch point. And if you use the promo code Ramelan at checkout, you receive 10% off your next purchase. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later, and keep making some great stuff.